introduction, Joey Connect, senior leader with Proteus Engage. We're headquartered in the U.S. In the Nebraska area, Omaha, Lincoln area. We've been operating out of there for a long time, 20 plus years. So appreciate everybody's time. So the topic today is unlocking the full potential of NetSuite. So just kind of anecdotal story as I frequently do. So when we started our company and this world-class product, Engage is heavily used for kind of mission critical services for business for complex sales, closing the deal, handoffs, onboarding, account management and kind of growth, right? Basically, almost everywhere that revenue matters. And when we built the product, logically, we built it to originally work with deep integrations with Salesforce and HubSpot. But then we started to get a lot of interest from NetSuite customers. We are very big fans of NetSuite. Nothing negative, and nothing here today is negative about NetSuite in any way, shape, or form. It's a purpose-built application, as you know. You're probably a user of it, and so we had customers that kept coming to us saying, "Yes, Joey, we're NetSuite customers, and NetSuite's extremely powerful on a lot of areas of the business side, but it really doesn't provide us right now much features and functions for active engagement with the customers for these mission critical revenue areas." And so we started to explore and obviously talking with more customers, and that's how we get here today. So the purpose of this webinar is really just to share some of the things of how our platform Engage can really unlock more value out of your NetSuite install. And when I say value, I always mean customers being satisfied because that's where the money really matters. Clearly, there's efficiencies, and I'm joking. There's efficiencies and all sorts of things that are important on your side. Clearly, we help with that. But ultimately, it's about wowing customers and really matching their expectations. And so part of the slides here that we're going to go through, I'm going to be talking about some of those expectations too, and really making sure they line up or you're aware of that, because I think it's really critical. All right. So I appreciate everybody time. Some housekeeping notes or fun facts. Of course, many of you listen to the recording, so clearly I send out the recordings after, because many of you, it's tough to connect during this time of the day. Two, I also frequently talk about other resources during the presentation. I include those, in the follow-up also, just making it easier for you to find some additional things because it's all intertwined. And yeah, I'll allude to more of those here. So let's hop into it. So in many cases, most of our customers and the use cases that we're talking about here are kind of in that B2B environment. Now, we do have clients obviously in B2C, but a lot of the stuff I'll focus on is in B2B. So again, the reason why you signed up for this webinar, more than likely you're either entertaining to leverage NetSuite. If you are, we know many good resellers around the country. Just ping me after this and I can align you with a great consultant. We're not like we're a reseller or anything, just very trusted people around the country. And two, ultimately, you're wanting to better engage with customers in those different critical phases of relationship. I will also say many of our customers have channel and resellers too. I include that in this convo, so just to make sure everybody's aligned. So let's be frank. One of our values in our company is candid, and the bottom picture kind of explains the real world, right? So when you're operating a business in all of these factions, whether it's for sales, handoff, onboardings, customer relationship management, cross-selling, clear, I think I said onboarding, but we do a tremendous amount in onboarding, right? All of it is now a multi-person to person type of ecosystem. So you got a ton of people involved in transactions. And so you need a centralized environment to kind of do this. So it gets real wonky. Let's just be honest. And obviously clients tried to do this just through email or but you really want that fully kind of connected experience. So part of the problem for a lot of our clients is the world has just dramatically changed, right? The way that companies are structured, they're siloed, You need 1,000 feedbacks from a lot of people, multiple stakeholders, right? Those types of things. And so the environment itself creates this kind of pretty big challenge to keep everybody in alignment as to what's going on. So the problem starts with the environment, right? The environment kind of makes it very challenging if you're passing documents back and forth or trying to share information or keep everybody up to date, sharing reports, whatever it might be, with clients, current clients, the onboarding process, and how to get all your. Some of you might have, a lot of our clients that have NetSuite also have physical products, so you might be trying to do install of things at certain locations. Like it just starts to involve a ton of people who are actively doing it and people who want to know about it, right? And so all of this creates a pretty big challenging, especially when most of that communication and collaboration has to be done externally from NetSuite, right? So NetSuite, great operational platform, great for your in-house, all the different, I mean, as you guys know, 1,000 different modules for operating that's one, operating the enterprise. But ultimately where we fit is simple touch points with NetSuite to power amazing customer collaboration experiences for all these mission critical revenue areas. All right. So that's where one small change can make a huge impact, obviously, to all of your customer lifecycle revenue and relationships overall. So first, always typically there's an environmental shift that happens, and this is it, right? There's just I don't know. I've said this on quite a few of the webinars, and maybe this I should stop, but I'm 48, and I remember how it was very different 28 when I was 28, 20 years ago, how much different all of these processes were. It's amazing now how complex and how much time and how many people, and it's pretty incredible. You're all shaking your heads, I'm assuming. So, all right. So let's get into kind of the other big shift. So it's your customers' expectations. And so I challenge everybody here again, um, with NetSuite. NetSuite is kind of an interesting infrastructure, because there are all different types of companies obviously leveraging NetSuite. So you have to kind of map this back to your own environment. So sometimes when I do these things, I keep them kind of more generic, and then you can kind of map them down to your own personal product offering that you're doing, physical, software, professional services. I mean, like you name it, we deal with everybody. I didn't say deal with like in a negative way. We work with, you know what I'm saying? But your customer expectation. So one way to level set on you to how to judge kind of where you might be in the journey map. I always joke with an individual, especially like when we're on prem with clients or speaking at conferences or whatever. Um, I always say like, what is your expectation when you order a pizza pie? Native New Yorker I am, and so when you order a pizza pie, no matter where in the world, um, you order it, you see this little mechanical belt, putting it into the oven, right? Then it gets out and it gets into a little car, right? You watch your car or your robot and you see it coming around the corner. You're getting text messages. You know what the hell's going on, right? And ta-da, your $10 US pizza pie is sitting at your front door. And that was on a $10 transaction. So the purchasing experience, the actual delivery, the onboarding, if I may say, the onboarding of the pizza, all the way through to you actually getting it. And then the follow-up, you consuming it, then you're getting feedback of how did you like it, right? On a $10 transaction. And I always joke with executives, like, how does that work to your business? Whatever you're doing, honestly. It is so highly competitive out there today. Probably not over a $5 widget, or pizza pie might be a little bit of an exaggeration. But if you're in B2B, treating your customers right throughout that entire client life cycle of that sales experience, the actual obviously transaction onboarding, etc., is really, really mission critical. And their expectations are really high, right? Really, really high. And so you got to put yourself in that kind of perspective. So I note here kind of just some of the client perspectives, especially no matter what size business you are, whether you're a startup, mid cap, or enterprise, we work with all. But I frequently like to say we can make a lot of super small businesses look like they're very well oiled enterprise machines. And if you're an enterprise person on the call today, you know exactly I mean the opposite with you guys, because everybody thinks if you have a big name enterprise, you got it all figured out. And quite frankly, a lot of times you know as well as I do, it's not, and it's hard, right? And so that's just 25 years of experience coming through. So let's talk about some of your customer expectations. So one, they are, looking for that centralized environment to communicate and collaborate with your company. They want to collaborate to manage risk with you, right? I'm not going to go through all the low level details here. If you are looking to do onboarding with clients, or what, onboarding is kind of a general term. So we always, well, let me back up here. So there's onboarding. One of the riskiest places for a lot of our clients is that handoff process, where if you are selling B2B, and if anybody on these calls as they listen, if your solutions, services, products are over 100 grand, the expectations go even higher. And that seamless better be legit, because you can get a lot of frustration and negativity around the deal around that if it isn't smooth. That approve it handoff process, scalable onboarding processes. We help a ton of clients with that, which is very, very useful, obviously. And then communication management. So these first five are kind of just to create the framework of, these are the expectations of your customer as they start to engage with you, and we call them experiences inside our platform. All right. And so this is what they expect. And you might be like, oh, Joe, yeah, you're right on two or three of those. Yeah, yeah. Then I ask yourself, okay, you have Netflix. I can guess you have Netflix. Well, why do you have Netflix? Well, it's on demand, right? And I can get to all the information and everything I need to know, and I know where I'm at immediately. Exactly. So do your customers or prospects in the sales use case, right? So you can see how the expectations, it's amazing how bad basically B2B is. Um, just being candid, right? You at your own company have probably purchased $50,000 worth of something and been treated like crap. Had a horrible onboarding. The handoff was atrocious. You basically had to reinvent the wheel, right? And maybe it didn't even work. And you lost 50K in a year. Didn't even use the product or service or the unit or whatever, right? Imagine that. Imagine that if you map that down to your private life. You wouldn't stand for that, right? Um, then customers' expectations continued. Um, Flexibility. So this is kind of there's kind of a apple orange here, I guess, if that's the right way of saying it. But um, when we first engage with clients, sometimes they're like, oh, well, every deal we do is different, whether it's sales or handoffs or onboarding or CS activities like quarterly business reviews or other activities. In reality, it's not. About 70 to 80% of it is pretty much rhythmic that we can help template and scale very effectively with our clients. But then you also have to create what feels like a bespoke experience, but that bespoke experience is done in a very scalable way, right? And that's the expectation of customers. And so they want to feel it's personalized, personas or whatever, but also for you to do that efficiently. It's not so easy. As you guys all know, you're assuming a NetSuite user, you have like different roles in NetSuite, and then there's different integration or touch points. So Kia Camry Cadillac, you don't have to get that complicated right out the gate, but ultimately it has to feel customized. Couple of things we'll talk about here, some of the deficiencies in NetSuite related to external experiences, but you do want to know what's up. You want to have analytics, you want to have measurement, you want to have all of these kinds of things, and clear visibility on the process, right? So your customer wants to know what's up. Now, obviously, NetSuite has some order management UIs and some of those types of things that you guys know from a portal perspective. We're not really competing against those. I'll walk you through kind of where we fit, but sometimes the communication and collaboration is different. And then really nothing to do with NetSuite. Most of our clients are looking to make sure they have ROI focused kind of deliveries with their clients. Again, in these critical areas that you signed up for related to this, which is that complex sales process, that handoff, onboarding, really making sure that the customer's happy and communicating and collaborating with them on that for success, you know, overall. So okay, so I feel like this is kind of probably a little bit preaching to the choir. Um, um, NetSuite. So, and I can parallel this really, quite frankly, to Salesforce also, right? Salesforce, most highly penetrated, obviously, CRM delivery platform in the world. NetSuite, operational ERP, obviously, you guys have probably the basic CRM modules, and then you might be using some of the other like e-commerce packages, online shops. We don't, excuse me, obviously we don't mess with that. What we basically do is based off of the CRM level or some other aspects, can power all these different experiences. But ultimately, NetSuite is not designed in an efficient way to provide a great experience externally to the customer. It's just extremely limited. Same thing with Salesforce, though. So to make, if it makes you feel any better, Salesforce. Well, many of our clients leverage Salesforce. Also. So it just with all the wealth of data and millions of dollars you've put into standardizing, optimizing, um, running the company on NetSuite, with a couple of simple touch points, we're able to unlock that into helping fulfill all of your sales, basically complex sales, onboarding, CS activities, touch points, channel partner interactions, reseller interactions, etc. So there, it's limited, but there's a solution, and it drives a lot of value. Obviously, I talked about the CRM is pretty limited compared to others, and so a lot of clients are looking for more touch points, way to communicate and collaborate with clients, etc. Very limited. There's zero engagement. Let's just own it, and that's why we're very successful. We also have a lot of clients that are like mobile and doing a lot of things. All of our solutions are mobile, and there's no real connection, meaning analytics and measurement between the two environments. And again, big big fans of NetSuite, just like Salesforce, but with modern business and modern interaction needs and engagement needs, the external facing world is so critical for your team and the client to be sharing data, moving things back and forth, keeping on track during all these mission critical cycles, right? So that's kind of the framework. Let me kind of again reiterate probably some of the processes you need to be thinking about that these are all driven through our platform plus more. But as I mentioned, complex sales or honestly, dealer sales or channel sales all through our platform. Very, very popular out of the box. Cross-selling opportunities. So a lot of our clients leverage the platform or what we call workspaces, which are client-specific workspaces for doing that cross-selling opportunities. So, excuse me, like account management, QBRs, those types of things. I told you at the beginning, gonna make it through. Um, all of these in one centralized environment because you got all the key stakeholders coming in. Sales handoffs or handoffs in general, customer onboarding, obviously mission critical. Customer account engagement, obviously a CRM is just an internal tool. This is actually how you're building account plans with clients and doing all sorts of stuff. All of these experiences are driven through our platform. And then our platform does also have, and we know NetSuite has some channel partner and reseller type of functionality in there. Again, ours is more for the relationship management with them, and it's heavily used by dealers and other channel environments, right? So you should be doing a lot of these processes, but inherently you're limited because you're using NetSuite, or that's what you thought. And so that's why we're here today, right? Is with a couple critical kind of touch points, we're able to then switch the gears to an environment like this. Okay. So high level, just and this isn't a demo day or anything like that, but I just want to bring to life kind of an example what we call workspace experience. So let's step back for a second. Um, so let's say in your NetSuite, you have a client called Falcon Health, and you guys, are providing services to them. Again, the client types that use our stuff, product companies, professional services, tech companies. I mean, you name it. Yeah, really, all some business service providers. I mean, we have all client types. So what this is a private workspace. So let's say your company sells and just sold and is delivering something to Falcon Health Systems. And so this is a client facing. So the people at the hospital, here they are able to see everything that I'm showing you here. Now there's controls and all sorts of things of that nature, but for today's purposes, this is bringing everybody together into one secure, what we call workspace experience. Then within these workspaces, you're able to execute all of these different experiences that we've been talking about. Again, sales, handoffs, onboarding, CS activity plans, account plan, you name it. All of those are delivered and collaborated on inside these workspace experiences. All right. So this takes your NetSuite data and basically powers a highly customizable, highly dynamic, customer facing, and your team obviously is coming in and out of these two for certain things, but all seamless. This really transforms the experience for your customers and levels up everything that your teams are now able to deliver to your prospects and customers like in real time. And again, this is a customer facing um, workspace experience. The customer can just click a link and get in here, or they can log in like it's an extranet to for your company, like a branded URL. And of course, this would all be all your colors. All right, but 30,000 foot. And again, I encourage anybody who wants to kind of deep dive and explain your environment and some of the challenges you're having. I include in the follow up a personal one-to-one meeting with me. Really, it's not a sales demo at that one. It's just more what's your challenge, and I'll tell you whether or not we can help you with that challenge. But related to our Engage product here, there's this workspace. Again, as you remember some of the earlier pieces of this conversation, we talk about needing a centralized environment, secure, open communication and collaboration, passing of information and resources back and forth. All of that is done through our platform. We also integrate with your email. So everything that is going through here is seamless, templated, fast for you, everything. And again, document sharing, document collaboration. We have very powerful checklist systems, so these things are business process optimization, basically processes that we set up with our clients, fully customizable, fully templated, sales mutual plans, onboarding, handoff, you name it, any business processes you're operating that you need to have intense back and forth with your customers to capture data, validate data, literally anything, videos, forms, anything is all processed within inside this very, very robust checklist system that we have. This is kind of the cornerstone of a lot of our interactions. The tool also creates tasks, follow-ups, bird dogs at everybody, automations and follow-ups. To be very, very transparent, at minimum, our clients see about a 30% efficiency in communication and collaboration with the customers because the platform does 7 times the work for them. So you do one thing, the platform does 7 for your team. So it really creates a lot of efficiency. And if you're a manager on this call, you also have visibility and analytics to know everything that's going on. So we use this kind of infrastructure, the workspace, our checklist system, our file sharing, and all of our business process management workflows built into the tool. These are used for all the different use cases that we were talking about there. Obviously, sales, handoffs, onboarding, customer service activities, etc. This one I have here in front of you obviously is just for the purposes of today. So you have the groups here on the left, which are kind of business functions or experiences. And then you get into different things that you might be leveraging the platform for. Again, for argument's sake, if you're using this for um, onboarding, you might have different onboarding checklist or an on-prem checklist, all of these things. The critical pieces here is that for every single piece, the customer has visibility as to where they're at. They can be completing things 24/7. And then the system is automating a lot for you. And then your team is also actively involved here. So by looping this all together, we take the simple touch points within NetSuite and now unlock all of these customer facing experiences and optimizations to really drive value, excuse me, for your group all the way through post launch, where you might be doing survey to cross selling, you name it. The point here today is just to understand if you are leveraging NetSuite and you have that infrastructure set up, but you have needs to scale your organization, in the areas we've been discussing: complex sales or sales negotiations, handoff, onboarding of clients, customer interactions, cross-selling, basic marketing to the clients. This is where 1 to 3 touch points internally basically can unlock all of these interactions and business driving opportunities within what we call workspaces powered by Engage. And so um, investment, nominal. So we have a very transparent licensing program. Basic accounts can, depending on the size of your firm, too. If the firm is under $1 million in revenue, you can use Engage for free. So I encourage any startup or initial growth company, you can just flat out use Engage for free. After that, we have additional seat licensing, which is only on your users, nothing to do with anybody else. It's our average client is probably around $200 a month to $1,000 a month, depending on the enterprise. So very easy ROIs for all of this, and completely scalable solution sets overall. So look forward to talking more, learning more about your organization and environment. I will close. Excuse me. Again, tough. I will close with this, as I've mentioned. Um, I encourage anybody to just schedule a one-on-one with me. We've been at this for an extreme long period of time, and lots of different use cases. And some people just reach out and say, "Joe, here's my challenge. Would Engage help with that or not?" We're very transparent. So I encourage that. I also will share out additional resources around all of our processes of how we drive value for these different customer experience type of opportunities. So again, appreciate the time. Remember, kind of in this use case, you got NetSuite. Okay, it's fine. We can unlock the wealth of that and scale that for all of your customer and prospect, obviously, processes, and do this very, very easily. So appreciate the time and interest, and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks, everybody.